Hi there, let us look into a very interesting algorithm called as hierarchical clustering. It allows to group similar data points together, and it does so by building a hierarchy like a tree where you have all the similar data points are going to be placed in the same node of a tree. So the business case for today is about Clara, who is a data scientist, and she would now like to do an MBA. And because she's a data scientist, she would like to use these data science techniques to help her select what is the best business school for her. So she gets some data from the Financial Times MBA school ranking, and this data has got information regarding the school name. It has also got information regarding the location, as well as there are some other details like what is the weighted salary, what is the career progression, as well as information related to the employment which the student gets after finishing the school. So she does this hierarchical clustering, which will allow to group similar schools together. So here you can see these results of hierarchical clustering, where you can see that schools with a similar are grouped under the same node. So for example, these two schools, which are from France, they fall under the same node. And you can also see that these two schools are from India, and they are also falling under the same node. So this is very interesting, and it would be now useful to do the next step, which is converting this hierarchy into clusters. So this is done by specifying a threshold. So threshold is like cutting the tree, and then you can form clusters based on where you are placing that particular cut. So by applying a threshold of 15, she obtains these 5 clusters, which are represented here by this node 179, node 185, node 191, node 184, and then the node 192. So for example, if you look at the node 179, it has got all the schools which are from France. They are all the French business schools over here. Now you can plot a bar plot to see which node has got most of the schools. So for example, here you can see that node 191 has got most of the schools, and the node 184 has least number of business schools. Now it's good to do this hierarchical clustering, but it's also important to do the cluster interpretation. So this will help Clara to actually understand the meaning of hierarchical clustering. So you can do that using a radar plot, where you can plot all the different characteristics of all these groups and then kind of compare it. So for example, you can see that the group 192, which is represented here in a blue color, has got a very high number of professors with doctorate, as well as it has got a very high satisfaction. Now, let us now also do an interpretation of the cluster using this particular format. So node 179 is all the schools which has got very high internship, as well as the students get an employment within 3 months. And you can see that most of these business schools are from France. The node 184 has got schools which has got very low international students, but it has got high satisfaction and value for money. And this is all the schools which are in India. Node 185 has got schools which have got very high international students, and you can see that these schools are mostly from UK, Ireland, as well as Canada. And node 191 has got schools which has got very high salaries. And you can see that these schools are from France, from USA, from Singapore. And then node 192 has business schools which has got very high ranks. These are very highly ranked business schools, as well as they have strong satisfaction, as well as the number of students are small to medium. So Clara decides to go with this node 192 because it has got all the schools which are highly ranked, and she also prefers all the schools which have got small to medium class size. So if it was you, which segment would you select? Now let's do a quick knowledge check just to see if you really understood the process of hierarchical clustering. So the first question, what is hierarchical clustering? And I'll give you 1 second to think about it. All right, so you have your 1 second. And here the answer is that a hierarchical clustering is basically a hierarchy of clusters. It tries to create a hierarchy of cluster by grouping similar data points together in a tree-like structure. All right, the second question. If you see two business schools under the same node, what does that mean? I'll give you 1 second to think about it. All right, so the two business schools are very similar. Now, the third question, what is a threshold? I'll give you a second to think about it. All right, so the answer is it is a value which is used to determine where to cut the tree in order to form these clusters. All right, so hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to try out these clustering techniques, you can do so on my platform, datajarvis.ai. Now I'm going to show you on how I obtained the hierarchical clustering as well as all the visualization using my platform, datajarvis.ai, so you can also try it out. So here I'm on my platform datajarvis.ai, so I'm going to activate it and then I'm going to select the data set. So we are going to select the data set which is related to the business school. So here I have all the data related to the business schools and I'm going to now add it to the platform by clicking this add data button. And in a while the data has been added to the platform. So let us now chat with Data Jarvis. So first of all, I'm going to give a question such that give me all numerical fields in a CSV format. So here I have all my numerical fields in a CSV format. So I'm going to take this and then I'm going to say that create hierarchical clustering with all these fields, and then I'm also going to say that put the node label as school name and put threshold as 15, and I'm going to hit enter. So here I have all my results. So here I have all the schools which has now been assigned a cluster, as well as here I see the data visualization which I've shown you earlier, as well as I also have the clusters as well as the number of schools which are falling under each of these clusters, and I also have the radar plot comparison. And what we can do is now we can ask Data Jarvis to give an interpretation of each cluster. And voila, here I have the interpretation of all these clusters. And hopefully you will like this video, and you can also try out this excellent technique with your own data and let me know in your comments on how you're using this technique for your own value. Thank you.